Hi, this is Dave and Rich again from housebearings.com. Today we are going to tile a shower surround. And as you can see, we've already done the prep work. We have basically what's behind here is just regular wallboard drywall, and then we put on with unmodified thinset this Curdy membrane, and it's made exactly for this. Once it's done like this it's absolute watertight. Both the shower tray and pan area is watertight, and these walls are watertight. So now all that we have to do is lay the tile. And once you get your beginning line laid out, that's probably the hardest part, so that all the tiles sit on the wall the way you want them and they space out nicely. Once that's done, it's just a matter of applying the mortar to the walls, and we'll show you how to do that in just a bit. And then, or the thinset, and then we also back butter our tiles to make sure that we get good adhesion. Okay, we've got the laser level on our tub now. We're trying to figure out the ideal placement of our beginning tile so that everything else looks good. And so we're ending up with about a half tile on the bottom. That is going to allow us, I'll show you here, if that's going to allow us, we have 12 by 24 tiles, or really 11 and something by 23 and something. But put that right there, and that's going to give us a split or a line right in the middle of our niche. And then when you go up here, each of these black numbers are where we're going to have tiles, and that's going to give us, it looks like we're going to have a skinny tile at the very top, but we're not, because at this line right here, we're going to have a 4-inch flare line of different tile, just to break up the look a little bit, and that's going to be here. So our top tile will be just shy of full size, and so if there's anything that's out of level up there, we'll have room for that. But this gives us the best look overall. We're putting the mud on with a 1/2-inch trowel. We're using an unmodified thinset, and that seems to be the way to go with 12 by 24 tiles. We use unmodified thinset because of the Curdy board, or the Curdy membrane. And that the reason you use unmodified is this is a waterproof barrier. The tile that we're putting on is not permeable, so the thinset needs more time to dry. Thus, unmodified gives it that more time to dry and cure correctly. So we're off to the races now. It's just a matter of following that. We're going to cut our first layer of tiles and put them on, and then just stack all the way up. Alright, first tile going in here. We've got this one back buttered, which is just smooth, like a key coat or whatever, to put it in. And then we've got these, you can see the line there with the laser level chutes, and that's how far we put the mud up the wall. And then you set it in, and all your lines should go straight vertically to the short side of the tile. It allows the air to escape when you press it on the wall. Don't swirl. Swirling's a bad idea. So you move it backwards and forwards about a 1/2 inch, because that's the spacing of our notches in our trowel. What we've done right now is put a skim coat on the back side of the tile, and then we have these 1/2 inch by 1/2 inch trowel lines that we put on the wall, and it just makes a really good bond. Okay, now gotta find the center of that. 23 1/4, so that'd be 11 5/8. Alright, so to put a tile on real simply, a messy job to say the least, but basically just put on the mud we're using unmodified thinset because of the backer that we're using. And you just want to put a skim coat on the wall at first so that you got contact with all parts of everything that you're getting ready to lay the tile on. And then once we get this skim coat on, we're going to go ahead and put our trowel notches in it. And that's the way the trowel notches are really the magic. We're using a 1/2 by 1/2 trowel. They're 1/2 inch wide, 1/2 inch tall, square notches. So now, when you put the notches in, you want to go straight lines, no curvy lines. Curvy lines will cause the air will not be able to release out of it when you squish it into the wall, and so you'll have air gaps behind that, and that just makes for a bad job. The tiles are a lot more susceptible to breakage, and they're not going to be mounted to the wall as tightly. Your notch size is dependent on the size of your tile. So anything over or 16 inches on up, you'll use a 1/2 inch by 1/2 inch. The smaller tiles, you can get away with smaller notches, but they always have that. You can just look that up. It's pretty easy to find. This side, we've already put the key coat on it, the skim coat. That will provide a good bond between the tile and the wall. It's just a super thin coat. Okay, now we want these lines to line up, but because we have these 1/2 inch gaps, you want to move the tile back and forth about a 1/2 inch so we can squeeze out the air and mount it well. And the reason I wear gloves is because if you don't wear gloves, by the end of the day, your hands will feel like you took sandpaper to them, and they're just unbelievably rough. I learned that the hard way. So now we put our spacers in, and spacers are personal taste. Well, it looks good, but generally we use 1/8 inch spacers. They seem to do us the best job, which is a real fine line. Maybe back in the day, fatter grout lines were more in style, but I don't think they are today. Nice to have just thin, clean lines. Looks good. To put on the skim coat or the key coat on the back of the tile, you just use the flat edge of the trowel. As we do this, you want the thinset out of the grouts. Later on, we'll put grout in those lines, but you don't want the thinset in there. So you got to make sure that if there's any in there, you get it out. And you get it out now before it sets up. And what works really well is using your little spacers. If you use these and just run it through the line, and it cleans them out really nicely. Once you get the tile in and it's in a good place, go ahead and wipe it down. Get any of the thinset residue off of it. Take this off. And I'm taking off the extra because we're not going higher on this tile, we're going around this side, so I don't want this stuff setting up before I get to that area. So this is our laser level, and as you can see, it shoots a very straight, it sits on basically a swivel. This light in here is on a swivel, and you can see it kind of vibrates back and forth. But if this were not straight, the line starts to blink. But if it's in a place where it can find level, it does. And so what we did is shot this for our bottom row, so we know that this is completely level, and then as we build up from here, we're building up on a level foundation. The laser levels are a little pricey, maybe around 250 bucks, but it makes it so much easier than doing pencil lines. If you're going to do more than one tile job in your life, a laser level, we used it for the porch, we use it for hanging windows. It's just an amazing tool. Oh yeah, we also used it for siding. Wherever you need, you can use it for hanging pictures. If you're going around the room and you want all your pictures on the same level, it's just a great tool. If you want to get this exactly laser level or a laser level, we have a link in the description below. So go ahead and click on that. I'll send you to Amazon, and you can get hooked up right there.
We like to mix up just half a bag at a time because it takes a while to do all the measuring and cutting of the tile, and we don't want all of the thin set to set up where we're having to throw some of it away. We have this mixing bit that we use on our drill, and it does a great job, and these are available in every hardware store. We always put water in the bottom of the bucket first before we add any of the thin set powder because it just helps it mix better. And we're looking for a consistency kind of like smooth peanut butter, and then you know it's ready to roll. All right, now that's looking good, and we're going to let it set up for 10 minutes before we put it on the tiles.
All right, we're going to put our first tile that's around a circular object, which would be the shower valve. Put that up here. This corner, Rich cut down straight lines like this and broke those little pieces off so it becomes a curve. So one's a short little cut, and then one next to it, and one next to it, one next to it. Snap all those little pieces off, and it makes a radius. And you can do that for a quarter circle or a semicircle. The same process works good. If we happen to have a piece that went right like that, that's a whole different animal. Then you got to get a diamond tip drill bit and make circles around there and knock them out. So it's a little bit more challenging to do just a whole circle. We've got one that'll probably end up in the middle of a tile, and we do have one that's about that diameter. But a big diameter like this, you'd have to make lots of smaller holes and then knock that out. Okay, when we're all done, the cover plate's going to sit on this. Cover plate, this is 5 inches across, and the cover plate is 6 3/4. So we got plenty of room to, Rich made it very precise, but we have plenty of room to cover any imperfections. So
this tile is basically the mirror image of the last tile. It's going to be on the left side of the shower valve, so that's the area that we've got to cut out.
okay,
Hey.
let's have it. No, it doesn't fit. You have to do it again.
Hey.
That's fine and dandy.
How'd that one fit on there?
It went in like a dream.
Hey.
Just gotta put in the spacers now. Alright, we are wanting to make sure that our middle seam here is dead straight up and down. If you don't have a laser level, you certainly can get a hold of one of these levels. Okay, and that gives us just line of sight as we go up the wall, especially now as we're getting into the niche. We want to be able to make sure our lines are straight from top to bottom.
Hooray! Looks like it was planned and measured. It's not the easiest thing, really, to get that square to line up perfectly.
Alright, we're doing the accent line or the flare line or the trim line, whatever you want to call it. We're using mosaics. Mosaics are a royal pain because they don't print them on these sheets 100% level, because these natural stone tiles are not 100% uniform. So it looks a little wavy at times, but it's the way they're printed on the sheet. But anyway, we're doing a 6-inch line, and we're using a 1/2 inch by 1/2 inch trowel. And the reason that it's overkill for the tile, typically if you're like doing a backsplash, you would not use such a big notch trowel. You would use something a lot smaller. But we have these tiles are put on with the 1/2 inch by 1/2 inch notches, and so this needs to stick out and be flush with the rest of those tiles. And that leaves us with using a big honkin' trowel. And I even have to back butter these pretty thick to try to get it to stay flush. And then it's just a matter of marrying them in. They just finger joint together. And once you got it pretty flush there, and then you're gonna press them in. You want good contact with that wall, so they're going to stay there. But it's really that simple. It's simple to do, but it just takes forever to go ahead and do a good job, making sure it's flush, making sure grout, you don't put too much grout on so it oozes out underneath where you want your grout line to be. So it's a process that just takes a lot of patience, but it'll be worth it in the end to be patient in the short run.
All right, what's the significance of this tile?
It's one more down. Now we're going to finish up the main look. Got a couple more side tiles, but oh, we love it, we love it, we love it.
Did it fit?
All right, yep. Just gotta get a little of these spacers in there, but yeah, it's one of those you only get one shot on this one because it's near impossible to get back out. Let me wipe this up. So she looks good. Look at that.
All right, Caleb, what's going on over here on the floor?
So I've drawn out in pencil the dimensions of our shower. Okay, Avi.
Okay, the one that
Yeah,
Avi is on.
The basin. And basically we've got this natural edged stone. So each one's a bit unique. And this is going to be the flooring. So we've got to kind of arrange them in a pattern that tries to hide the seams.
Okay, well, looks very good. So that's going to be the actual shower floor design.
Yep.
With the dog on it.
Hey.
This is the tile for the floor of our shower. Got it all measured out in here. We're just going to transfer it into that bathroom. All right, first course is in, and it looks really nice with our tile. Hey, looks like the last piece fit in nicely.
Yep, just doing our final cleanup and grout.
Grout City, here we come. What are you doing?
I'm getting ready. They want you to mud these corners, or put a little whatever in there, because when you set this, it's going to be like glam in. Okay, I'm about to set the drain here. I want this to be all happy in its final home. Okay, here we go. Da-da-da. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yep, that's low, that's low.
So we've got a drain.
Got our drain.
Hooray!
Now we just got to do our final rocks and we just let it dry. We are finishing up the curb and it is looking really nice.
And you basically constructed that curb out of wood?
Oh, just 2x4s, yeah.
Yeah.
And there was enough of the Kearney, we had a good Kearney overlap so that it's waterproof and tight with the tub itself. So that could be any better.
And what's the significance of this piece?
This is our last piece.
Hooray!
And that is fun to have the last piece of the shower going.
Very
And
nice.
now I want to get the level out.
Alright, so here's kind of a look at the whole thing. It'll look better when we grout it
Oh, look
and
amazing when you grab it.
get the tape off the walls, but it's definitely taking shape.
Alright, so there you go. We finished hanging all the tile, and it's a lot harder process than it looks, but it's because it requires a lot of detail. If you're a detail person, it's not physically hard and you can do the work. But as you can see, once it's in, it just completely transforms the space. Hope this helps with your tiling work. Be sure and check out our future videos. We're going to finish this off with the grouting, but that's a whole nother deal. Thanks for viewing. If you got anything out of this video, be sure and hit the like button. Please subscribe, and we'll see you in the next time. Probably are better off too, because then you'd be like, why didn't you let me video that?
I'm sure. I would say it in that whiny fashion too.
Hope this helps with your tiling videos. Hope this helps with your tiling work. Be sure and check out our future videos. We're going to finish this off with the grouting, but that's a whole nother deal.